Initializing narrative protocols, compiling imagination, translating dreams into words. Welcome to AI Storytelling, where technology and fantasy unite to tell a tale.
The Adventurous Family and the Ritual of Pruning. That Saturday morning began with a crack, crack sound coming from the backyard. Dad, in full gardening attire, was using a large pair of pruning shears to tackle the dry, withered, and overgrown branches of the mango and rose apple trees that had been left to grow wild for too long. Beads of sweat formed on his forehead, but the work continued. Ma-Kook-Koo, having just finished his breakfast, ran out to see what was happening. "What are you doing, Dad?" "I'm pruning the old and dead branches, son," Dad replied, wiping away his sweat. "We have to cut away the old parts that are no longer useful so the tree has enough energy to grow new branches, new leaves, and bear fruit for us to eat." "Whoa! I'll help too," Ma-Kook-Koo offered enthusiastically. "Great," Dad beamed. "Then my son has a very important job. You will be the gatherer. Your task is to collect all the branches I cut down and pile them up in the back of our pickup truck." Ma-Kook-Koo's mission began. It was much harder work than he had imagined. Some branches were heavy, others had sharp thorns that snagged his clothes. But every time he felt discouraged, he would look at his father working tirelessly, which gave him the strength to carry on. He dragged and carried branch after branch until finally a huge pile of branches filled the entire truck bed. "Awesome job, son!" Dad patted him on the shoulder. "See? A big job can only be done when we have people helping each other." That afternoon, the whole family helped take the branches to a disposal site outside the village. On the way back, Dad pointed to the now neatly trimmed trees. He said, "They might look a bit bare right now, but just you wait. Soon, they will sprout new shoots that will be more beautiful than ever." That night, everyone went to bed tired from their work, but with the satisfaction of seeing their home neat and tidy once again. And in the world of dreams, a great journey of restoration had begun. They found themselves standing in the middle of a forest that felt strangely sad and gloomy. This was the forest of memories. Each tree was tall and had a familiar shape, as if representing different events in their lives. But sadly, every tree was covered in the branches of stagnation, gray, withered, and lifeless branches that entangled the healthy limbs, making the entire forest look like it was dying. Suddenly, the figure of a beautiful woman in a gown of green leaves appeared. She was the Dryad Queen, the guardian of this forest. She said, "My forest is losing its breath. It is burdened by an unpruned past. I need someone with the heart for new beginnings to help perform the ritual of pruning." The Dryad Queen looked at the adventurous family. She said, "You are the chosen ones." She handed a pair of shining silver Shears of Decision to Dad. She said, "You, as the head of the family, use your wisdom to choose what must be let go." Dad accepted the shears. They fit his hands perfectly. As he approached a tree, the shears would glow when near a dead branch. He began to trim these branches with confidence. With every snip of a gray branch, the trees seemed to breathe more easily. "And you, little one with the heart of determination," the Dryad Queen turned to Ma-Kook-Koo, "you are the gatherer." Ma-Kook-Koo's duty in this dream world was even greater than before. The fallen branches were heavy and sometimes whispered voices of discouragement to him. They said, "It's too much. You can't do it." But the image of his hard-working father gave him strength. He gathered all the branches of stagnation, loading them onto a magical pickup truck, woven from tree roots, until it was completely full. "Where do we take these branches?" Cher-Ma-Eiw asked. The Dryad Queen pointed a path into the heart of the forest. She said, "Take them to the Bonfire of Transformation." They drove the magical truck deep into the woods until they reached a clearing where a calm, blue fire was burning. Dad and Ma-Kook-Koo worked together to unload all the branches and toss them onto the fire. But instead of burning violently, the branches slowly dissolved into a shower of warm, glowing rainbow-colored embers and fragrant ash. "The ritual is not yet complete," the Dryad Queen said. "Pruning is only the first half. The other half, equally important, is to nurture." Now it was Mom and Cher-Ma-Eiw's turn. They were the Nourishers. The two of them gathered the warm, rainbow-colored ash and brought it back to the prune trees. They carefully sprinkled the magical ash around the base of each tree. And then a miracle happened. The moment the ash touched the ground, new leaf buds sprouted from the once bare branches. The entire forest came back to life in an instant. Fresh green leaves unfurled, colorful flowers bloomed, and magical fruits appeared on every tree. The once gloomy forest had transformed into a bright and vibrant paradise. The Dryad Queen looked upon the work of the four of them with a smile. She said, "Remember, life is like a tree. We must have the courage to prune away a withered past and thoughts that hold us back, to make space for new, better things to grow. And once we have, we must not forget to nourish new goodness and hope to take their place." Everyone in a family has a role in this cycle of growth. Everyone woke up to a new morning with bright sunlight streaming through the window. The first thing Ma-Kook-Koo did was run to the backyard. He looked at the mango and rose apple trees that his father had just trimmed. Although they still looked bare, he could now imagine the sight of fresh green shoots that would soon emerge. He felt a sense of pride he had never felt before. He wasn't just a trash collector, he was the gatherer, an essential part of a grand ritual, and he had learned a very important lesson, that letting go is not an end, but the beginning of a new and more beautiful growth.
Narrative transmission complete. Memory logged. To ensure you receive our next story protocol, please engage by clicking like, share, and subscribe to AI Storytelling. Your support provides the energy for our next creation. End of transmission.